This, the large building across the gardens and children's play park was Leith Hospital, now converted to housing. This main part of the building was built in the 1920s from money raised for a war memorial for the First World War.
But why not a more traditional memorial?
Good question, Evelyn. It was decided by the fundraising committee that a more fitting tribute to the fallen was this building, rather than yet another stone memorial.
On the left through the lights are bonded warehouses, now converted to upmarket flatted dwellings. The first was for Krabby's Green Ginger, and the second was for the Queen Anne and the Antiquary whiskies.
If I may just interrupt, that's the two perfect ingredients for making up
Juice ginger beer.
Ah, but not that comes in at 4.7% proof. The next stop is for the Leith Mills, which are situated on your right. This is an ideal place for all things Scottish, from cashmere to kilts, from shortbread to whisky, all under one roof with restaurant and coffee shop facilities. When you alight, just cross the road and walk between the houses to your destination.
Did you say cashmere? Oh, I do love cashmere.
Yes, and what's more, on presentation of your ticket, you will obtain a free clan certificate, whether you want one or not.
Oh, what do they do if you don't have a clan?
Oh, the normal thing.
The normal thing? What's that?
They just make it up. At 7 p.m. on the 18th of May 1915, the troopship Aquitaine
With the commanding officer, headquarters staff and 15 officers. They were apparently in good spirits, having made a stop at Carstairs Junction, where well-wishers furnished the troops with light refreshments.
But then, disaster struck. As the troop train approached Carlisle, it picked up speed on the downhill gradient. Unknown to the driver, just north of Gretna, at the Quintashille Junction, there was a stationary goods train. The guard of the goods train signalled frantically before jumping clear at the last second as the troop train slammed into his wagon, sending broken machinery cartwheeling through the air. This was accompanied by screeching brakes and a tortured screaming of metal being ripped apart. Then, silence. As the unfortunate soldiers tried to orientate themselves, another noise.
The overnight Glasgow to London Express plunged into the rear of the stricken troop train, throwing wreckage either side of the track and turning the scene into an inferno of flames. Despite the best efforts of doctors and ambulance crew, the death toll was 214 soldiers, with 193 injured. In addition, there were 15 dead and 55 injured on the following express train. A cemetery, Rosebank, is now on your left, and the Iona cross hard against the wall marks the mass grave.
A footnote to this tragedy was in some ways an even greater tragedy. Following the arrival of C and D companies, the battalion went into battle at Gallipoli in mid-June. 28 days later, of the 1,028 men who left Leith, only 174 survived.
This street is called MacDonald Road, originally Carson Street, but renamed as many streets in Edinburgh after politicians, national and local. Mind you, having said that, we do not know why Carson Street in the first place. The large, ornate and fussy neoclassical gable on the left was designed to disguise what was a strictly functional and utilitarian building. Industry striving to turn a gentrified face to a highly respectable street. This was designed in 1899 by the city engineer John Cooper as an electricity generating station, for which the red brick buildings and associated chimney behind contained the powerhouse.
Further up this street is a fire station, which is the nearest to the port of Leith. In its grounds is a mock-up of a ship's hold and bridge in order that the firemen employed here can practice the fighting, controlling and extinguishing of fires on board ships.
About the London Fire Brigade. The year after my famous relative went south, the brigade had one of its strangest recruits.
Another one of your relatives?
No, this was not a human recruit, but a canine one. He was called Chance, and he went to all the best fires. The firemen clubbed together, and they bought him a collar with the inscription, "Stop me not, onward let me jog, for I am Chance, the London fireman's dog."
Do you know, that rhymes? Well, almost. So what with his well-paid job and his faithful hound all ended happily?
Well, no, not quite. His brigade was called to a fire at a warehouse in Tooley Street near London Bridge, and he decided to attend.
Not a good decision, I take it.
No. During the fire, a wall fell on my poor relation and his stepson, killing them both instantly.
Altogether? Aww. We enter Leopold Place, the entry to the fourth and last of the Newtown schemes. As discussed earlier, this movement started in the late 18th century, and if you look either side of the street, you will see the architect Playfair playing with his classical styles, with large Doric pillars on one side and Ionic on the other.
How do you tell the difference?
Doric is on your left and Ionic on the right.
Ionic, the one with the curly bits.
If you mean the volute, yes.
Good.
Another reason for the non-completion of this somewhat grand scheme was the ground itself. As the foundations were being dug, it was noticed towards the centre of the site that subsidence was common.
Without the benefit of sounding equipment, they were not to know that under this road lies an enormous underground lake, sited in a cavern, and that they were in fact building on the beach of this expanse of water.
Thus that sinking feeling.
Exactly so.
Edinburgh has a network of small rivers, burns flowing under the street of the city. Some rise and flow for a period in the daylight before diving into the darkness. However, some, such as the Tummel Water, rising in Stygian gloom and coursing through underground passages, swirling in the all-encompassing darkness, never glimpsing the light until it reaches the sea and at last breaks free and into the light.
Unless, of course, it was night time and it was